We're here for the regular meeting of the City of Avon Lake City Council for 7 o'clock on today's date, March 23rd. Before we get going, Mr. Reynolds, I'd like to call on you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. At this time, I ask that we all please stand for a moment of silence in observance of the lives lost in the conflict in Iran, those currently serving, and the families that they left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I would like the clerk to read the roll call, please.
Mrs. Vanderbosch.
Here.
Ms. Gentry.
Here.
Mrs. Goodwin.
Here.
Mr. Koss.
Here.
Mr. Reynolds.
Here.
Mr. Shamir.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mayor Spetzel.
Here.
Law Director Ebert.
Here.
Finance Director Crossy.
Here.
Public Works Director Liskovic.
Here.
Thank you all for being here. First on the agenda tonight's the approval of the minutes. If everyone's had a chance to review the minutes, are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Yes, Mr. Shamir.
It's not a correction. I just want to make a comment before the minutes are approved. I just want to confirm that the record reflect the concerns raised regarding unresolved infrastructure impacts, long-term cost responsibilities, and the need for the Planning Commission to evaluate those issues before forwarding the mixed-use overlay to Council. Hence, I want the record to reflect that the city is continuing to move pieces of this redevelopment forward while infrastructure plan, long-term economics, and responsibility for cost, infrastructure, maintenance, and others remain unresolved. Thank you.
Do you have that, Ms. Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. The minutes will stand approved with the correction of Mr. Shamir. Any correspondence? Yes, Mr. Shamir.
I have a number of correspondence from residents both on Hanford and Liberty Rose with respect to construction traffic. If I may put a few videos on the overhead, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yes. All right. Go ahead.
You can hear it. I think you have to get back out and then go back into it.
I hear noise, but I see no picture.
Right.
So I have to get out.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think you opened it before it was turned on, so it's
Maybe a split. Here we go.
there.
Good job.
There are quite a few. I have been sent hundreds of these, so
So that everyone knows what intersection,
this is Liberty Rose.
and what's the street there is that,
It's Liberty Rose. It goes into Lear. So Lear is to the right of the photo.
okay, that's Lear Road on the right?
Yes,
So
on the
that's
right
house is
side.
on the corner of Liberty Rose at
Yes.
Lear Road, okay.
Should not be.
Just so folks know where it is.
So the issue that we have is this construction traffic continues to move through these streets, both Hanford and Liberty Rose. Now, residents have sent videos and photos since we opened both of those roads. The city was to enforce some level of control. And I will not bother to continue going through the rest of the videos. I think we get the picture. But fundamentally, as the season is beginning to change, and I will, as the season begins to change, and kids are beginning to play on the streets, this will be a problem. Same thing that we had about a year and a half ago when we discussed it initially. And I noticed that there was some communication with the mayor, but the comment has come forth that since there is no actual enforcement capacity because the council has not approved any enforcement. So I'm a bit confused because when everybody left here, the city committed to enforcement of traffic and construction utilization on those roads. I had a gentleman approach me at Giant Eagle on Friday or Saturday, which he stated to me that there was a police vehicle sitting on Liberty Rose as they were walking their dogs going back to where they live on Hanford. And they had approached the police vehicle, and the police vehicle effectively had told them that they were not aware of an enforcement component. And I just need some clarification on what to tell the residents. Are we enforcing construction traffic restrictions? Are we not? And what are we doing to enforce those issues? Because this has now been going on for close to 6 months. We've been going back and forth since the opening.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shamir. I had received an email and the mayor responded to it, so if the mayor would like to talk about the enforcement
Sure,
that's
happy
going
to.
on.
So I get, I believe, the same correspondence that Mr. Shamir gets. We're copied on those, and I've responded to those. It's not a constant. It is a, I think every time somebody sees one, I get notified, for sure. So we've worked with Pulte and Koff directly. They preemptively advised all their subs and all their contractors to not use the roadway. They are the ones who put the signs up on Lear Road. And anytime that we have a violation, I let them know. Within a day, they have responded back to me. Sometimes they are contractors for them, and sometimes they are not. And when they are not, we follow up by determining based upon a photo or a video who it was. I think Mr. Shamir knows, I think the other day I responded back to one that was a roll-off dumpster. Not related at all to the construction. It was actually farther back into the subdivision. And it was somebody who just put in GPS coordinates. So I advised them, they passed it along to their people. So without an ordinance that specifies we are going to cite vehicles specifically for being on those two streets, our enforcement capacity is using the private, using our law enforcement to advise them, and calls that I make. The numbers have been down from what I recall initially. Also at the public safety meeting, I put out some data on, for not Liberty, but for Hanford, the amount of traffic. It was pretty negligible. The average speed on Hanford, for example, was less than 20 miles an hour over the whole time frame from January through today. So I don't know what else to do other than to advise them. Now, the videos you showed, that was from a basement that was being dug on Liberty Rose. The trucks can't go east to Southport because they can't make a left-hand turn. They have to go out to Lear. If they were to make a right-hand turn, they'd be going through the subdivision, which would be unnecessarily driving through new streets with a load. So the quickest and most direct route that is legal is to Liberty. And that's just the nature of when you're building a house on Liberty Road and you're digging a foundation. So that one specifically I'm aware of. We continue to monitor it. But yes, we can't write a citation for something that doesn't have a city ordinance going to be able to enforce it.
Thank you, Mayor. And if the police department wants to recommend that an ordinance be made on these, I would guess that would be shipped over to Mr. Kaz in the public safety. So, all right, thank you. Any other correspondence? Seeing none, we'll move on to public input. Members of the audience shall be permitted to speak only once, up to 5 minutes on any topic. Feel free to come up, state your name and where you live, and we'll be glad to hear what you have to say. Good evening, welcome.
Welcome. I am Mark Larson at 292 West Wind. Larson with an S-E-N. I have three concerns. The first is the proposed earned income tax increase of 0.4% on the ballot in May, if passed, will reduce property tax by 1.5 mil. I am concerned of its effect on Avon Lake schools, and also what will be its effect on city services, since the increase is earmarked for infrastructure expenditures. I guess that's a question, not so much as a concern. Secondly is the lack of a TIF specialist on the proposed power plant development. Without quantification of expenses and risks, I believe any decision is ill-considered. Third, the TIF's dependence on property taxes, I believe, is a risk, given the legislature's recent moves on property tax and perhaps contemplated moves on property tax in the future. There are several bills under consideration. These, again, represent a risk to this project that have not been quantified, and we have not consulted anyone expert in these matters. That concludes my concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. We'll pass those concerns on to the folks that can respond to you. All right, anyone else wishing to come forward? Good evening, Mr. Phelps, welcome.
Gerald Phillips, Avon Lake. Pretty soon you're gonna look at 1219, the overlay district, and I got a few comments on that. At one time, Ms. Gentry, when it came up as far as the density, was very concerned of 1,200 units in that area, and that's what the maximum will be. It'll be 60 units per acre. And if ALERG has proposed 3 out parcels for that particular development after they sell the parkland to the city, and they're about 6-7 acres, but there's no setbacks on those parcels. There's 0 lot lines based on 1219. There's no building coverage limitation, so they can put a building on a total property. I mean, that's not normal. Usually there's setbacks, because if you don't have setbacks and you have 0 lot lines, those buildings are gonna be right next to the park, right on the property line of the park, okay? Right on the line. So that's not in 1219 as I see it. Also, what came up at one of the other meetings about the town center was a concept called air rights. And that's going to apply to the power plant. Air rights are basically the space above. And they can buy and sell them and transfer them. And they're like, you can make a condominium out of it. And so that's a concern that could be done in 1219. There's nothing about that. There's no consideration about air rights. There's no provisions for air rights concerning that. And absolutely there will be air rights, because they're going to have a 100-foot height, and they made changes so it's 70 feet on the frontage of it. So that's going to be a great concern. You know, TIFs. I don't know if you're aware of it. I don't know if the commissioners are aware of it, but we got a time bomb. Because in November, there will be on the ballot this initiative petition that has been circulating by residents. And it eliminates the property taxes. And I've read articles of what that will do to all existing TIFs, all future TIFs. All right? Because if the property tax goes away, there's no collateral for a TIF. And either somebody in Columbus is going to think it and pass something as an alternative so that doesn't pass, because most people are going to vote yes, even though it's catastrophic. I mean, I was involved in it, and when I heard what they proposed, I walked away because it's a bad idea, okay? But people are so fed up with paying property taxes. Seniors are hurt. It's probably going to pass. So, in the TIF, you know, we can sit here and think the TIF is great, but the bottom line is we're taking $30 million from the school districts and we're transferring it to the city to buy parkland, so-called free. It's not free. We're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know who's buying that land indirectly? Not the city, the school district, because you're stealing and taking their money. All right? And we're giving a corporate subsidy to ALERG. You know, one of the reasons why they don't want to show a model about the feasibility is they don't want to tell you how much money they're going to make on it. They don't. They bought the land for 20. They sold land to ALERG for 3.25. They're going to sell it to the city for 15. That gives them $1.75 million in cost of the land. That's a pretty darn good deal for lakefront property, 100-foot, 20 units an acre. I'll take that deal. I'll take that deal tomorrow. So, you know, we shouldn't give corporate subsidies unless it's necessary, and they produced a model. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Good evening, Mr. Zimmerman.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you. William Zimmerman, beautiful Avon Lake. Concerned citizen. We'll be on the air here shortly doing another show. Talk about all the things going on. We're just waiting for a couple other items to fall. Second, I'd like to talk about Jeremy Betza. You have a settlement agreement that's on the agenda tonight. First time I've ever seen it on the agenda. Never seen it anywhere else. Yet the document says that it's been held in open meetings. Public's been invited. I don't believe that's true. None of us have seen the document. None of us have seen anything. Nobody's had discussions out in the open where Mr. Phillips and I could attend. So I don't believe that that's factual. Even though Mr. Ebert just tried to tell me, well, you're going to get to talk about it tonight. Well, I'm not, because I get to talk first. Then maybe if I stay for the entire meeting, then I get the information at the end. Again, this is why one of the things of moving us to the front doesn't work. So, my next question is, do we feel that City Hall is a safe place for residents to come to discuss city issues and business? Do we think it's a safe place to do that? I would say no. I attended a planning commission meeting on the 3rd of March. Sat right over there. I had the representatives from ALERG seated directly behind me. As the meeting went on, I came back to my seat And the one gentleman says to me, "Sit down." I said, "Wait a minute, I live here." Made some other comments, to which I quietly said, "F you." The gentleman then tells me, "I'll meet you outside and kick your ass." In a meeting, in these chambers, in the middle of it. Somehow I don't feel safe. So I waited for a little bit. After the meeting started to clear out, Mrs. Fenderbosch and Mr. Ebert were in the hallway. As I exited, I'd made my claim to them about what occurred. I asked them if they knew who this person was. I was going to have to do some digging, get the sign-in sheet, all that kind of stuff, so I understood what was going on. Filing a complaint. This man intentionally attempted to intimidate me and pressure me with threats. And he represents ALERG. Is that who we want to be doing business with? This is thug business. This is what they're doing the whole time. They've been trying to intimidate us and force everything down our throats as we've moved forward in this process. This is appalling. This isn't how business is conducted. Gentleman said, "Shut up and sit down." I told him I live here. He doesn't. As I've made claims over and over and over, they're going to finish this deal or do what they can, and then they're going to move on to the next deal. They don't care about Avon Lake. They care about the money they can make. And that the stooges that they've been able to fool the whole time and have them do whatever they want and trying to get more money. Like tonight when you're going to look at, should we pay these people more? Get reimbursed down the road? If the TIF doesn't go through, do we still get reimbursed? I don't believe any of that. And my problem is with the whole development up there, you're gonna have to widen the road. There are gonna have to be turn lanes. Whose land is gonna be taken out of the deal? Avon Lake, the city, or ALERG? I don't think this is well conceived. You haven't thought it through. There's so many variables that are still going on, and yet you want to rush it right through Planning Commission and move it on to City Council. I'd like an additional minute, please.
No, I'm not going to give you an additional minute. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Seeing none, that'll conclude public input. Thank you for your comments, everyone. We move on to reports. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just a review of some events coming up this Wednesday, March 25th. We will have the State of the City address at the library at 7 o'clock. That's open to the public, obviously. The League of Women Voters is going to be hosting a presentation and panel discussion on the power plant property, which has been a discussion earlier. This will be on April 22nd at 7 p.m. in the gallery at the Avon Lake Public Library, same location. We will have a formal opening of ALPS, the Avon Lake Play Space. As you all know, it's phase 2 has been completed. Kids have been playing all over it. We do want to have a formal opening to recognize the work that was done on that, and that will occur on Friday, April 24th at 10 a.m. So we'll have more of a formal opening, and you'll be seeing, council and others will be seeing an invitation to that. Just a reminder, the primary special election day is Tuesday, May 5th. We encourage you obviously to get out and vote. Memorial Day Parade and service will be held on Monday, May 25th. For information about the proposal to increase the income tax, which is again was also brought up from 1.5 to 1.9%, please visit our website. There's a lot of information on the site about the increase, the roads program. I did want to address the residents' question about if we do away with the property tax in this proposal, how it will affect the schools. It will not affect the schools. The property tax is coming from us, not from the schools. Again, there's information on the website about the increase and how it's going to be funded and some frequently asked questions I've received notification from the Arbor Day Foundation that Avon Lake has been designated as a 2025 Tree City USA. I know Mrs. Fenderbosch is very proud of that. She's an integral part of that happening. Well-deserved recognition, and we greatly appreciate the teamwork and dedication of those who work hard to protect our plants and care for our urban forests, particularly our Tree Commission and our Public Works Department. We are looking for residents who may be interested in serving on boards and commissions. We currently have an opening in our Community Improvement Corporation and our Civil Service Commission. For additional information, you can go to our website, avonlake.org, and check out the news item, Your Community, Your Voice. And you'll be able to get more information on how to apply for those if you're interested. Lastly, I'd like to announce, I did this, I believe, at a CCM, but I'd like to announce our longtime Avon Lake resident, Anthony Abram, or Tony, passed away on March 13th. A service was held on March 20th. Tony was a longtime dedicated public servant here in Avon Lake. He most recently served on the Avon Lake Board of Municipal Utilities and previously served on our city council. Tony was one of those people that if I needed information about things that have happened in the past and going way back, Tony always had the answers, and he always had details to those answers. He had tremendous memory of his time in the city and knew a lot. So we do appreciate that, and our condolences go out to his friends and families on his passing. And again, we thank him for his dedicated service to Avon Lake. That's all my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I would reiterate your remarks regarding Mr. Abram. I would like to ask that at some point, when we're able to, that the city flags maybe be flown at half-mast. I don't know. I know we have the soldiers is what's happening now, but I would, and if we could let Mr. Abrams' family know when we do that, I think it would be very well deserved on his part. Thank you. Does anyone, yes, Mr. Kaz?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Council President. I want to just restate something that I said at the Public Safety and Health Committee meeting last week, and mention it again to the mayor, that when the grand opening of ALPS takes place on the 24th, I hope that along with the invitations and to the public to come out to that, the city reaches out to the following individuals, but not limited to them. Former Councilwoman Billy Jo David, former City Engineer Joe Wrights, former Mayor Greg Zilka, former Park and Rec Director Tim Pinchek, and former Engineering Department employee Kelly Martin. And I'm sure that there are probably others as well too, in that they are specifically invited to that event, formally invited to that event by the city. They put a lot of the preliminary work in to get us to where we are today. And quite honestly, there were a lot of very contentious meetings leading up to that, and there was a lot of irresponsible accusations thrown at them at their professional stature, and none of which proved to be true, obviously, as the city prevailed at the Ohio Supreme Court from the lawsuit that slowed this entire project down for years. But their reputations were tarnished temporarily. And I think it would be a really nice gesture if the city formally invited those individuals to participate in this grand opening, because they played a big role in it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaz. They are invited. They're on our ever-growing list. Thank you.
Mr. Kaz, anything further?
No, sir.
Thank you. Mrs. Fenderbosch?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for the kind words that you said about the Arbor Day Foundation. I really have to put the names of Selena Kreitzer. She is the administrative assistant in the Public Works Department, along with John Liskovic on those lists for huge kudos. They're the ones that keep track of the many hours, the monies that are spent, the labor that's done in order to create the application. It is a multi-page application. It is tedious, and I just want to make sure that she is recognized. Thank you, along with John Liskovic.
Thank you, Mrs. Fenderbosch. Anyone else have anything for the mayor? Mayor, I did want to ask you about progress with regard to a city engineer.
Actually, HR Director Kearney is here. City engineer. Can you provide a quick update, or I don't know if Mr. Reynolds knows an update?
You want to take it?
It's up to you.
completely up to you.
Ms. Kerna, come on up if you would. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have my notes with dates in front of me, but we do have 3 engineer interviews scheduled. The first one is on April 2nd, and then the next 2, I think, the week after that. So we are looking forward to meeting those qualified individuals and hopefully being able to narrow down a candidate.
All right, thank you.
And I believe we had one drop off and one decided to retire. Is that correct?
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for the mayor? All right, seeing none, next on the list of reports is the council president report. I will report that we have no meeting scheduled as it's the 5th Monday for March 30th. And we also, as we set our schedule, do not have a meeting April 6th due to the spring holiday and the Easter season. Regarding that, we will meet on April 13th. We have a collective committee meeting and a regular meeting scheduled that day. If anyone would like to have their committee meeting at the beginning of that, please feel free to let the clerk know or myself. I will, and I'll report this again in finance report. We will have a finance committee meeting at the start of that CCM. I don't anticipate that it will be very long, so there is room for another committee meeting so that everyone can see what we're talking about in these meetings. Anything for the council president? Seeing nothing further, I will go to the law director.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Ebert. Next is the public, I'm sorry, does anyone have any questions for the law director? Yes, Mr. Shamir.
Just wanted to see if we have closed the loop on Erie View.
Yes, we have. We've signed an agreement. Everything else has been insured. I'm trying to remember if there's anything open. What we had was, there was an issue of it on the deed. There was a signature without the date with the notary. So we sent that on about a week ago, I think it's been. Still waiting for them to come back. So theoretically, that's open, but it was recorded and everything else. So we should get the deed recorded back any day now. But other than that, everything's been fine.
Anyone else? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Thank you very much. Since the contract now has been completed, we haven't finished paying it for it, obviously. At what point in time will the signs change from school zone and 25 miles an hour and all of that?
I'll pass that on to the mayor.
I know that I've talked to Mr. Liskovic about that. Maybe I defer to him, but at some point, a community center does not meet the regulations for a required school zone, so they're gonna have to come down. But I'll defer to Mr. Liskovic if he has any further input for that.
I would agree with the mayor. I think from my standpoint, I was waiting for everything to be finalized before we start moving in there and demobilizing equipment and stuff like that. So,
Mr. Ebert.
If I could, as soon as I get the recorded deed back corrected, then we'll notify them so actually to have the signs changed.
Thank you very much for the follow-up.
All right, thank you. Next is Mr. Liskovic, Public Works Director.
Finance Director.
I just skipped her. Sorry. Next is the Finance Director. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Mrs.
And I actually
Crossley.
had something to report this evening. Thank you, Mr. President. So I would just like to mention, we do have a budget adjustment on the reading this evening, hopefully for passage. And I would like to just address one question that came up at the March 11th income tax presentation. And there was a question about the allocation of the income tax. And I would like to just read a quick passage from the City Charter, Chapter 886.01, Section B to B. And the question that came up was about the allocation by percentage to 4 different funds. But within our charter here, there is no reference to percentages. So I'd like just to read that very quickly. To provide for the operation and expenses of the general fund, income tax capital improvement fund, bond retirement fund, and recreation fund in amounts determined annually and approved by council. So that does happen annually in our budget process, and that is reviewed with council. And it was also included in a graph that was presented on March 11th in a 10-year history. So those numbers were reflected in that graph. So I just wanted to clarify that for anyone else who had any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Have any questions for the finance director? Seeing none, now I move on to Mr. Liskovic, Public Works Director.
Good evening and thank you. I just have 2 updates this evening. First off, next week, roughly middle of next week, more specifics will be coming within the next day or so, but I wanted to make everybody aware that on Route 83 that there will be a necessary water main connection and crossing for the Harbor Crest subdivision. And in discussion with Fetchco, Excavating, and PD, it's about a 2-day project. The first day is going to have very minimal impact to traffic. They're still working through the MOT, but right now they're feeling confident that they will be able to still maintain 2 lanes of traffic throughout the crossing. But in the event that they would have to shrink it down to 1, it will obviously be maintained with flaggers. I've requested them also to put out portable changing message boards before the end of this week, just to alert motorists that that's going to be upcoming next week. So more to come on that, but I just wanted to get the primer out there that will be happening next week. It's, like I said, about a 2-day project, and we'll have between Public Works and PD, we'll be pushing out the various notifications and to the communications team and such. Next item up, I just wanted to provide everyone an update that we earlier this month, although probably not as quickly as we had hoped, but we did complete the installation and commissioning of the brine making system. If you recall, we received a grant from Ohio EPA for $75,000 to put towards that system. Most of the equipment arrived late fall, early winter last year. Installation went pretty well, although the cold temperatures fought us over the winter with some of the flexible piping. But we do have that up and running, and we'll be looking forward for next winter season to utilizing that to help manage our salt usage, to reduce our environmental impacts. The list goes on and on with the benefits, as we'll have 2 current trucks plus anticipated delivery of the 2 additional trucks. So we'll have 4 trucks available to be utilizing that for snow and ice operations next winter. So just wanted to provide an update on that. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Mr. Kaz.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Mr. Liskovic, thank you for the information on 83 over there with that project that's going to cause some problems for a couple of days. I agree, the more advanced information you can put out there with signs and our social media and whatever else we can do is great. I would also encourage you to have somebody with the city directly advise the schools of that, because we have all the buses that go through there, and that I think that would be beneficial to them in case they have to make any adjustments to their timed routes.
I've already been in contact multiple times with the bus garage on this.
Great. And my question then is, you had mentioned a 2-day project. Is there going to be any night construction involved with this, as far as you know, or is this just business hours?
This will be during daytime hours.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have any questions? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Mr. Liskovic, will it be opening at night then, or will it remain closed during the evening hours, even though they're not working?
Well, there's going to be, and I guess in the event that they had to do a 1-lane restriction, that would just be during working hours. It would be full travel when they're not working. It'll be plated if need be. But their intent is to move through the trenching very quickly and have it done within a day's time.
Yes,
Then
continue.
Mr. Liskovic, I have a second one. A resident did contact me and they were concerned that the brining materials may have come from the oil and gas industry, and they're concerned that there would be radioactive ingredients there. Could you speak to that topic, please?
Absolutely. It's a topic I have much knowledge on. So the material you're talking about is industry trade name Aquasalina. It is a direct byproduct of the fracking industry. I've done numerous amounts of research on it. Have had conversations with the ODNR. They assimilate the amount of potential radioactivity no different than a slab of granite on your kitchen countertop. However, that product is not what we will be using. The equipment that we've installed and have now at our disposal will allow us to take our bulk rock salt, solid material, and turn it into that brine, that 23% brine solution. We do have the ability with this system to add some other products to lower our working temperatures down below zero, where typically salt stops working at about 17 degrees. But first, we just got to learn the system and get used to it before we start adding some additional resources.
Thank you for the clarity.
Sure.
Thank you. Anyone else? I do have a couple questions for you, Mr. Liskovic, relative to the 83 trenching. Is that going to be, and there might be a few questions, is that going to be an open trench, or are they trenching underneath the road?
It'll be open cut.
And then what's the plan relative to fixing it once it's done? The developer's doing all of this?
Correct. And developers.
I mean, I'm concerned about our road and Route 83.
Mm-hmm.
How was that approved? Did you guys approve that administratively? What's the situation with regard to make sure that the road survives as best as possible?
Right. So that is, it's been essentially, we've put together the parameters. A lot of what we're making the contractor do follows ODOT standards. But we are, obviously my biggest concern is to making sure that we don't end up with areas where, I've noticed a lot of trench crossings that have settled throughout the city. So that's one of my biggest concerns. So we're still refining a couple options on backfill material, and we're just trying to weigh through the different things. But we'll have a definitive answer on that tomorrow.
All right. Well, I think it's important for the residents to know that we're on top of this,
Yes.
and we're not going to let this road turn into a nightmare there. The other question I have is relative to it's going across Route 83. Is the state involved in this at all, in making any recommendations or
No,
having any?
as it sits within our city, we have the jurisdiction on it.
Did the developer have to contact the state in order to close down the road? I know that we have issues with Route 6 or Route 2, whatever it is down here, Lake Road.
So we're not doing a full closure. We're going to be maintaining traffic the whole time.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Liskovic? All right, I don't see any. Next, we have standing. The first one up is Building and Utilities. Ms. Gentry.
Yes, we'll have our next Building and Utilities meeting as part of the CCM on April 13th. The Communications Committee met last week. We are reviewing social media policies, the PEG channel challenges that with moving to Erie View. We also discussed ADA compliance laws for the website that are coming into play next year. Also making sure that privacy compliance laws are, we're up to date with those as well. And as part of the org.to.gov website transition, that should be taking place around November timeframe.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Gentry in Building and Utilities? All right, thank you. Seeing none, next is the Economic Development. Mr. Shamir.
So we held an Economic Development Committee meeting on March 16th. Prior to that meeting, submitted an Economic Development Strategy Framework document to Council, Administration, Economic Development Director, and CIC, and that was on March 10th, with the intention to have a working meeting in the next 2 to 3 weeks and completion of a draft strategy document by the Economic Development Director and Administration within 12 weeks. Furthermore, we also had a meeting of CIC on March 11th. And as the mayor mentioned previously, there is an opening for a resident member within the CIC. So if there is any interest, please forward your resumes to Ms. Rosmarian as soon as possible, or also look at the city website for any information regarding that opening. Furthermore, there is the next meeting of CIC, which will be held on April 8th, and the next meeting of Economic Development Committee would be on April 20th. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Shamir. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Shamir on the economic development? All right, I'm not seeing any. Next is the Environmental Committee. Mrs. Goodwin.
Thank you. I don't have anything tonight, just that we will have a committee meeting at the April 13th meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Goodwin, Environmental? Seeing none, next is the Finance Committee meeting. As I indicated, the Finance Committee meeting will meet on April 13th in the beginning of the CCM. There are three ordinances that the Finance Committee has. One is the authorization to purchase the property at 720 Moore Road in conjunction with the utilities. That's on for suspension of the rules. We also have the ordinance for the appropriations and the ordinance relative to a settlement agreement with Jeremy Betza on the agenda as a first reading this evening. Any questions for Finance Committee? Seeing none. Next, I see that we discuss Human Resources. Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you. I have nothing more to add. As was stated earlier, we have 3 interviews beginning in April for the engineering position.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Reynolds and the Human Resources? Seeing none, I'm on to Public Safety and Health. Mr. Kaz.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. So the Public Safety and Health Committee met on March the 18th. There were a few items on the agenda, of which there are items on our agenda tonight that either came out of that or we had discussed. I'll touch on a few of these and I'll expand on a few when we get to them in the legislation portion. The first item that I want to talk about is the Summerfest one-day liquor license permit that was requested by Mr. Aaron Fatch for the city to authorize a one-day liquor license for the Summerfest, which would be taking place at Miller Road Park on June the 20th, 2026. This would be the second year that this event is going on. It was held last year and had the same one-day liquor license permit, same type of thing that we do with the Beer Fest on a smaller scale. There were no issues with this last year. The police department had no concerns. As far as we know, everyone had a good time, and there were no issues that would have prevented or caused concern with doing it again this year. The committee passed that by a 3-0 vote. We have it on for first reading tonight. Based on the time frame from being requested by the Park and Rec Department, we can go 3 full readings on this. One of the other items that we discussed was the golf cart legislation, the slow-moving vehicle, the low-speed vehicle legislation, which is on tonight for third reading, ordinance number 2613R. And the R is on there because during the meeting, Lieutenant Fran Tibbetts made the request that in addition to the 11 other requirements needed for the low-speed vehicle safety inspection, that a 12th item be added to this. And that is in our packet in red and 480.02 B. And if you go down, there's a number 12 there now, which now has an addition of adding a slow-moving vehicle placard on the rear bumper. And we see those quite often on the back of slow-moving vehicles. These things are available. We did a quick Google search of it. They're for sale at Menards. They sell them at Ace Hardware. They sell them at every one of those types of stores. You see them on the back of the buggies if you go down near Amish country. So they're very familiar. It's an orange triangle that goes on the back of a vehicle signifying a slow-moving vehicle. So we added that to the legislation as being one of the things that would be required with the safety inspection. And those things run about $15 to $20, so the cost is nominal on those. So that is on for third reading tonight. I also want to mention that we had about a half a dozen owners of the low-speed vehicles, the golf carts, and they came out. We had a very good discussion, I think, back and forth with them. They brought up a lot of points, and the police department and the committee were able, and members of council were able to, put some of their comments in there on why we're moving forward with it as we are. And I think by the end of the evening, even though there's some restrictions on these vehicles, I think at least the owners of them understand why we're doing it the way that we're doing it. They may not have been 100% happy with it, but they understand why. And as explained by my colleague, Mrs. Fenderbosch at that meeting, these things aren't written in stone forever. I mean, these legislation can always be modified, always be changed. But this is a new piece of legislation to the city, and this is the best thing for the safety of the community going forward right now. We're always open to taking a look at these things in the years ahead. So we had a really good discussion with that, and we have that on, like I said, for third reading tonight. The other item that we had a discussion on the e-bikes and the helmets, and we talked a little bit about what the city is going to be able to do, what the campaign is going to look like to notify the public of this. Dr. Remy did a great job last week with that, and I know the city has taken that portion of his presentation and they're putting that out. I know the police department is going to be putting out their own PSAs on this as well too with our digital media. I know the school resource officers are working in the schools to educate the public, and we had talked about a helmet program and trying to connect some way to get youth to not only wear their helmets, but give them incentive to do that as well too. So I know that those discussions are still ongoing, but we had a pretty good discussion on that. That is up tonight for second reading, and I'm going to be asking for suspension of the rules and emergency on that. And the reason that we're going to be asking for the suspension of the rules on that is we are getting to the point in the season where people are out and about and they're riding again, bicycles, e-bikes and everything. And our next meeting of council is almost 3 weeks away. So we thought it was in the best interest of the public to get this law on the books, and that's what we're going to do. We talked a little bit about enforcement with this as well too, and I think Lieutenant Tibbetts, had a good point with this, where he talked about, what are we going to be pulling over 12-year-olds and writing them tickets? And he explained the way that the police department tends to handle these complaints and concerns with youth violators, and if they have to stop them. Not only do they talk to them, they try to advise them, and then they also will call their parents as well too when needed. And in some cases, if necessary, the police department does have the authority to take that bike, take that e-bike until the parents are called and they come pick it up, and then the police department can have that conversation with their parents. So the police department is well schooled in this, and I have faith in them that they will, when they notice it, when they are called on it, that they will enforce the helmet policy. Want to go back one thing real quick here on the low-speed vehicles before I forget. That is up for third reading, but we do not have the emergency clause on that. So we got 30 days, should this pass tonight, that would go into effect, and that would give the police department the opportunity that they would need to put their program for inspections together. So I wanted to make sure I made that point. One additional thing that I want to mention about e-bikes is, as council members, we read a lot of things and we hear a lot of things of, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? We're limited on what we can do. The Ohio Revised Code limits the city of Avon Lake on what we can do with e-bikes. But I do want to put this bug in the community's ear of what can be done if the state were to change its rules. And I want to point out that as of January the 26th, as of January 2026, the state of New Jersey enacted strict regulations requiring e-bike riders to be at least 15 years old, hold a driver's license or motorized bicycle license, register their bikes, and obtain insurance. Helmets are mandatory for all, and a 6-month grace period applies for compliance. Riders must have a valid driver's license or a motorized bicycle license. Registration is required, insurance, and again, the age restriction, you must be 15 or older. A couple of the other things on this law, obviously no one under 15 may operate. Helmet law, the helmets must be DOT approved, and the law applies to low-speed electric vehicles, e-bikes, all 3 classes, and violators can be fined, and the law includes a 1-year probation on the online sale of e-bikes to those, well, I'm not sure how that comes in there. Sorry, I didn't mean to read that. And it also prohibits on the sidewalks as well, too. So those are some of the opposite way, the extreme ends of what can be done with e-bikes, and that's at the state level. And that's where the change on a lot of these things needs to come. We've got elections coming up in November. We've got some pretty good state representatives, State Rep Joe Miller, State Senator Nathan Manning. The questions on e-bikes and why can't we make them get a license, insurance, and things of that stuff, really the ball is in their court. And I think those are questions that we should be asking of them, and also to the candidates that are running as well, too. There's a lot of things going on in the state of Ohio, and this might not be on their right on their their stump speech, but it's something that I think that they should be starting to look at. As we have states like New Jersey doing this, and I think Florida did something similar to it as well, too. So the state of Ohio might really want to take a look at this, and it starts, I think, with the state level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaz. Any questions for Mr. Kaz and the Public Safety and Health Committee? Seeing none. Next, we have Public Service. Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Thank you. The next public service meeting is going to be April the 1st. It's going to be at 5:30 in these chambers.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Fenderbosh? Seeing none. Next, we have Planning Commission. Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you. Tomorrow, March 24th, we have a special meeting to consider the mixed-use overlay. I did want to ask, in the interest of safety, if we could have ALPD presence as we do at other meetings for that meeting, based on the comments from Mr. Zimmerman earlier in the meeting.
Mr. Mayor?
I'll speak with Mr. Rua. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay, I'll speak with him.
Thank you. All right. Yes, anything more, Mr. Reynolds?
That's it.
All right, yeah, I'm looking forward. Okay. Yeah,
Are we sure that was Mr. Rua?
We talking about filming?
No.
No, not filming.
Having police.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was under the impression you were talking about filming. That wouldn't be Mr. Rua, would it?
I guess not.
No.
I mean,
that might be Mr. Robbins.
he could do physical security, I think.
Yeah, well, we can arrange that. I thought we were talking about filming. My apologies. Makes more sense that way.
Any more questions down at this end? Yes, Mr. Kaz.
Yeah, thank you. So the mixed-use overlay, it's been a topic of conversation going back to last year and previous years in the city. Obviously passed the initial version of this last year. Now going to Planning Commission, and then providing that eventually gets passed through Planning Commission and will come back to council. There's been a lot of talk in the community on this recently. Channel 3 ran a whole series of sections on this on their news. Mayor did a fine job on there. Saw him all over the news the last couple of days. But it led to a lot of conversation, and people have asked me and sent me emails or called me or stopped me and asked me questions about this. And my answer is this on the mixed-use overlay. Out of respect for the Planning Commission and what they need to do, and the fact that we have two voting members here with us tonight, I will wait to see what the Planning Commission does before I offer my comments and concerns and questions on the mixed-use overlay. So that's what I told residents of why I have not said too much about it publicly when it comes to us. I want to wait for the Planning Commission, give them the respect and the authority and the distance that they need to make their decision, and then when it's our turn, we'll have plenty of opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cos. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Shamir.
I do have a comment, if I may. As the proposed mixed-use overlay for the power plant redevelopment will be before Planning Commission tomorrow evening, with the expectation that it would then move to council, I believe that this requires public attention. An overlay of this scale should not move forward without a real infrastructure plan showing what as many as 1,200 additional units would mean for the area. That means roads, water, sewer, stormwater, traffic, and a broader capital impact. Just as important, there's a need to be clear answers on who will pay for those improvements. It also does not make sense to move something like this forward without a long-term economic model showing how the project performs over 30 years or more. If this is being presented as a major redevelopment opportunity, then both the council and the public should be able to see the full picture, not just a concept on paper. These are the kinds of issues planning should be working through before sending anything to council. Forwarding an overlay of this size without understanding the infrastructure demands, the long-term economic impacts, and the responsibility for costs would be premature. That is especially true right now when the city is asking residents to approve a 0.4% tax increase for road maintenance and capital needs. We should not be asking residents for more money while a project of this size moves forward without a clear plan for infrastructure, cost, and responsibility. If residents have concerns about the scale of this proposal or what it could mean for the city's long term, tomorrow night is the time to be in the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shamir. I was going to also express the need for the public to come and express their concerns relative to the mixed-use overlay that is being discussed by Planning Commission tomorrow night. It's very important toward the going forward of the project. I think the economic well-being of our city is much dependent upon a good plan being put forward and the proper intermix of uses that should go into this property. And the sooner, at least as I see it, that we can continue to keep this project moving along, the better off that we're going to be, at least from an economic development standpoint. When it comes to the infrastructure and the like, I agree that those need to be considered. Those are considered by Planning Commission when plans come in front of us. And I look forward to coming tomorrow. I will be here myself. I'll be a few minutes late due to a previous commitment, but I plan on coming forward and seeing exactly what everybody has to say about it. Anything further? Any more questions for Mr. Reynolds? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Thank you. Since we're commenting on your item, I'm going to comment on mine. For some reason, my electricity went off. Okay, all right, I'm back. Okay, having served on Planning Commission for a long time, one of the things that I learned is what they do and what they don't do. And some of the things that were mentioned by my colleagues tonight is not something that they take into consideration at this point. The only thing that this particular decision that they're making is going to really be influencing in the near future is changing how the remediation is going to go through. Right now, the environmental remediation is for the zoning of industrial commercial. They're looking at an overlay, which is a mixed-use overlay. At that point in time, then the remediation will go to that other level. As far as the financials and what this is going to cost down the road, that comes in later. That comes in after we have moved through this particular process. And don't look to me for those answers or any of us. Look to our consultants, as in Todd Davis, for example. He's done this many, many times. He's gotten from a brownfield that's been contaminated to a usable unit, and these are the steps that he has gone through. We will get to those other steps. We're not there yet. The reason why we need to do rezoning now, we can't put it off. The reason we need to do rezoning now is so that the remediation, the environmental studies can come in at the level of that particular zoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on my left? Yes, Mr. Shamir.
I would like to beg to differ. The rezoning 1219.01 was circulated by ALERG in their memorandum to sell the property well over a year ago. So this is not only for remediation. It is for ALERG to market this property into the marketplace. So it is not just for environmental issues. It is the ability for ALERG to go out there and market 1,200 units on on those parcels of land. So it is one component to do the environmental, but the other component, it openly allows then ALERG to go and market 1,200 units without understanding the implications of that 1,200 units on infrastructure and who will pay for it. Because at the end of the day, if there is not clarity on payment and who will pay for that additional infrastructure, the city residents will be stuck with it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shamir. All right, Mrs.
I have a rebuttal.
Fenderbosh.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for your input. You're absolutely correct. It is for marketing. The city of Avon Lake will be able to say yes or no to those decisions. If we do not agree with who would be coming in as a vertical through planning and through the city, we can always deny it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Next is the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mayor Spetzel.
The next meeting, actually, there was a meeting on 3/25 scheduled, but that's been canceled due to no items for consideration.
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor regarding zoning board? Seeing none. We're back to you, Mrs. Goodwin, Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything right now to report, but we are having our next meeting on Wednesday evening, from 5:30 to 6:30, downstairs in the conference room, just ahead of the State of the City address. And it is a pretty loaded agenda, so I'm sure I'll have something come the next round.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for Parks and Rec? All right, seeing none. Next, we have special committees. Any special committee reports? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Thank you. The Tree Commission will not be having a April meeting, but instead, on the 30th of April at 1 p.m., we are inviting the public to join us at the Service Department at the garage that is close to the railroad. There will be a garage door open, and we will be potting trees, preparing them for two different events. One for the Garden Club's plant sale in May, and also for the Arbor Day, which is going to be joined with Homecoming / the Fall Fest. So again, that would be April the 30th at 1 p.m. We will be potting up trees, and if we have a lot of people helping us, it'll only take about an hour to do so. The next meeting will be will be May the 13th. The next meeting will be May the 13th at the old firehouse. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Tree Commission Chairman, Mrs. Fenderbosh? Seeing none. Ms. Gentry.
Yes, as I know I mentioned communications meeting earlier, but there were two pieces of legislation that are on for suspension of the rules as a second reading. One is the agreement for the Enterprise Managed Technology Services, and that one is our master service agreement for all the citywide technology services, and the other one is software support and licensing for OpenGov and Cartograph.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Gentry? All right, seeing none, we're on to the legislation portion. The first part is motions. I'm sorry, Mr. Shamir, I'm sorry.
The mayor was kind enough to send us a copy of the House Bill 361 earlier in the day. And I guess, where would we potentially bring that subject up? And I was wondering if it should have been brought up at the planning or somewhere else, because I do have a comment with respect to that.
My intention was to bring it up in Building and Utilities.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Is that today?
That's March 13th.
Or April 13th.
I mean, April
Can I bring that up?
Before, yeah.
I do have a comment, if I may, then attach it to the end of planning. Because when I look at this thing, it affects,
Looking at what?
at HB 361,
Okay,
House
yeah,
Bill
I'm sorry,
361, which was kindly forwarded to us by the mayor. And it really weakens local control over development. And if a project affects a city for decades, local officials should have the right to slow it down, ask hard questions, and require real answers before it moves forward. In Avon Lake, that means infrastructure, cost, capacity, and public impact should be evaluated before anything is advanced, not after the fact. So within that context, I would like to ask administration and the law director to do an assessment of this House bill and what we can do to potentially circumvent the issues that impact us directly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shamir. All right, any more special committee meetings? All right, we're on the motions. Any changes to the motions at all? If not, Mr. Cos.
Thank you. I move to instruct the clerk of council to return the form to the Division of Liquor Control in the matter of a new liquor license for William Fine Sandwich Shop LLC at 140 Lear Road, Avon Lake, indicating the city does not request a hearing.
Thank you. Mr. Cos.
Yeah, thank you. This was an item that was discussed at the last collective committee meeting. This has been reviewed by the chief of police, and he had no concerns. 140 Lear Road is the former Isla's ice cream shop, and this will now be a sandwich shop. And again, there was no concerns from the police department. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Cos on this motion? If the clerk would read, or if the clerk would call the roll, please.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Mr. Cos, you're up again.
Thank you. I move to instruct the clerk of council to return the form to the Division of Liquor Control in the matter of a new liquor license for D&T Revolution LLC, Sisson's Flowers and Gifts, 716 Avon Belden Road, Avon Lake, indicating the city does not request a hearing.
In discussion, Mr. Cos.
Discussion again, this was again discussed last week at the collective committee meeting. It has been reviewed by the chief of police. He had no concerns.
Thank you. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Next, we're into legislation. Any changes to the legislation at all? Seeing none. Third readings, if the clerk would read by title only, ordinance number 26-13R, please.
An ordinance authorizing the creation of a new chapter titled Low-Speed Vehicles within Title 10, Bicycles, Motorcycles, and Snowmobiles in Part 4 of the Code of Ordinances.
Mr. Cos.
Thank you. I move for passage of ordinance number 26-13R.
In discussion.
Yeah, in discussion, as mentioned during my safety committee report, this is the third reading. We talked about this obviously in the previous readings, and also we went back to the committee last week to discuss this even further. We've talked about this with residents that would be directly affected by this, and it's the recommendation that from the police department that we do not have the emergency clause on this to give them the time that they need to put the inspection procedure together. The two highlights of this legislation are that these vehicles will need to be inspected by the Avon Lake Police Department. This also includes having insurance, a driver that is licensed to operate on the roadway, amongst other normal safety items that are on pretty much every working vehicle. In addition, this restricts the use of these vehicles to only the streets in the city that are 25 mile per hour streets, excluding a couple of the 35 mile per hour streets that have sections of 25. So all of the neighborhood streets that you can think of in the city, the neighborhood streets, these would be able to operate on. Where it would be restricted, I'll run them off real quick. State Route 83, Electric Boulevard, Jaycox Road, Krebs Road, Lake Road, Lear Road, Miller Road, Moore Road, Pin Oak Parkway, and Walker Road. Those are the 35-mile-per-hour streets, and these vehicles would only be able to utilize those streets if crossing from one residential street to another in a direct 90-degree crossing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Cos? We've discussed this a lot, and thank you in your Public Safety and Health Committee for bringing this to us. All right, seeing no other questions, if the clerk would please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Cos?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
thank you. That has passed. We move on to second readings. Ms. Gentry?
I move,
First have to read.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun there. If the clerk would read by title only, ordinance number 26-15.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a personal services agreement for enterprise managed technology services and declaring an emergency.
Ms. Gentry,
I move for suspension of the rules for requiring 3 readings.
please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Cos?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
thank you.
I
Ms.
move-
Gentry,
I move for passage of ordinance number 2615.
thank you. Discussion.
This is the agreement for all of the managed services for the city.
Any questions for Ms. Gentry? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Cos?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
that's passed with the suspension of the rules. Next, if the clerk would read by title only, ordinance number 26-17.
An ordinance authorizing payment for software support and licensing of OpenGov Citizens Services and Cartograph Asset Management System and declaring an emergency.
Ms. Gentry,
I move for suspension of the rules to requiring 3 readings.
if the clerk would call the roll, please.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Cos?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
thank you. Suspension of the rules has passed. Ms. Gentry,
I move for passage of ordinance number 2617.
thank you. In discussion?
In discussion, this is the software and licensing agreement for OpenGov and Cartograph.
Any questions? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Cos?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
thank you. That has passed. If the clerk would read by title only, resolution number 26-18.
A resolution accepting a grant in the amount of $69,072 from the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council 2026 Energized Community Grant and declaring an emergency.
Ms. Gentry,
I move for passage of the resolution of 2618.
no, it's
Or
not,
don't,
it's not listed as a
oh,
suspension. of the
no,
rules.
I'm not suspending rules.
Right.
Sorry.
That's right. This is the second reading.
It's the second reading, we're not moving to pass. Sorry.
All right. Discussion. Any discussion, further discussion?
This is to accept the grant in the amount of $69,072 for NOPEC, and we use this to help make energy efficient
Thank you.
products.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Gentry? All right, that concludes the second reading of Resolution 26-18. If the clerk would read by title only, ordinance number 26-19.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute the Second Amendment to the Professional Services Reimbursement Agreement with Avon Lake Environmental Redevelopment Group, LLC, for the Power Plant Redevelopment Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Shamir.
This ordinance allows ALERG to temporarily front eligible professional costs to the city, and these fees will then be recovered by ALERG through a tax increment financing. The intention for the second amendment to the professional service reimbursement agreement for the power plant redevelopment project is 3 full readings with passage on the third reading.
Thank you. Anyone have any discussion? Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. So this second reimbursement agreement is the third such agreement that we've had before us. The first two were passed by council. The first one was the original. There was amendment passed last year, and then this will be the second amendment to the agreement, which continues to authorize ALERG to reimburse us for costs associated with our professionals. This will keep our professionals engaged in the process, particularly when it comes to environmental assessment, which is what they're currently working on. I think this has been before council at least 5 opportunities for discussion, and my request of this council would be to suspend the rule and to pass this on second reading to keep our professionals working and keep the environmental assessment in progress.
Thank you. Mr. Shamir.
Well, I am not in support of suspending the rules on ordinance 2619, and there is no emergency before council tonight. And I have had discussions with our environmental consultants and their work schedule. So, I mean, if there's a real emergency that arises, then council could address it at that time. But as of tonight, I don't see that emergency.
Mr. Shamir, I just wonder about the fact that we're putting out the money, trying to get the money back from ALERG. I think that does qualify as an emergency, so that we don't have our money sitting out there.
So we're already doing passage on third reading. So another 2 weeks effectively is not, another 2 weeks is not that big of a stretch.
Well, it's actually 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah. Yes, Ms. Gentry.
Has the city been paying these for the services provided?
We cannot pay until we appropriate the money or do an adjustment. We can't do an adjustment until this passes. So we will not be able to have them continue services until this passes. And then the amendment that's coming up, if it was to pass, we would include that money then into that amendment so we could pay them.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes. Oh, yes, Mr. Cos.
Yeah, I would support what the mayor is requesting, and if this were to be suspension of the rules, I would support that, to move this instead of waiting 3 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you. I agree with Mr. Cotts and the mayor. Therefore, I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings for ordinance 26-19.
If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Excuse me, I have a.
There's no discussion on a motion to suspend the rules. Please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
No.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
No.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended for ordinance number 20, has passed for ordinance number 26-19. Mr. Shamir, would you like to move for passage or no?
No, and I would like to make a comment with respect to that. This came through ALERG and moved to administration. They brought it forth, and if there is a requirement or an emergency, it's the city of Avon Lake that has to jump through hoops. It goes back to the days of implosion. Oh, we can't. We have to move forward because ALERG doesn't care if we do the implosion and the wind is coming into the city. Now it's ALERG brought it to us now, and we need to pass it now. When will we have a backbone to stand up and take a position where developers do not push this city around? Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Goodwin? Mrs. Goodwin?
Thank you. The only reason was because I'm sorry. I still had a question about the agreement for reimbursements that was brought. I'm okay. Thank you. That we had discussed the A and B, the clarity on that. That was the only reason. I wanted to make sure that I had that prior to.
And before we get into that, I'm going to move for passage of ordinance number 26-19. Discussion, if Mr. Ebert could answer that question. It's the question I had with you earlier.
Oh, yes, at any and all cost associated with this, if it doesn't go forward, we will not incur. But they will pay all costs up to the point that we terminate the agreement.
If we were to incur
We will incur costs after.
then it would be on us.
Hold on. We can only have one person talking at a time. She specifically referenced in section 6A, if the law director would address
On
it.
about the closing date, the seller should deposit or call to deposit with title company as required. Attach here to substantial assumption of lease. Lease, this is not it. All funds, documents, and establishments would reasonably required by the title company at closing. That means after that situation, any cost going forward will be
It's the
incurred.
statement regarding, yes, that is the
Yep.
statement. 6,
Yep.
if you could explain that, please.
Well, then, right now, any costs we are being reimbursed as part of the agreement going forward, okay, as long as we are going to purchase the property. When we decide it's not going to purchase the property at that point in time, any costs at that point in time going forward will be incurred by the city. We will not be reimbursed.
In other words, it's only the cost after we decide not to go forward, if we have additional costs.
Right.
Yes,
And it's to our discretion why we don't want to move forward. That
Correct.
doesn't matter.
Totally up to you.
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
And then I would only add in discussion that this is actually the third time that this has been before us. And I think we need to be on the ball here so that we get our money reimbursed to us with the expenditures. Yes, Mr. Cos.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Council President. Your comments reflect or echo what I was about to say. This has been before us a number of times now already. It's been publicly discussed. It's not something that I feel is being rushed. I feel that the reason that I supported moving the suspension of the rules tonight is because the way the calendar just lines up. It's going to be 3 more weeks before we get an opportunity to vote on this. And, it's just how it all laid out. It's had plenty of time in front of the public, and just to wait 3 more weeks on it, I wasn't comfortable with, for the reasons that were stated by the mayor, to keep our professionals engaged on this and to get them get the reimbursements as well too, which I think is important for the city. So that was the reason for my vote for the suspension. I disagree with Mr. Shamir that by doing that, because of how the calendar plays out, that we're being pushed around by ALERG. I disagree with that assessment, but I respect his opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gentry.
Yes, so this agreement is specifically for our services, for Todd Davis and for Verdantis to support the city in the work towards moving forward in the project, and that is why I support this. It's not supporting ALERG specifically. It's to support the services that the city needs to make sure that we are supported adequately.
I agree with you. Mr. Law Director?
It also allows them to continue on the forge going forward, rather than interrupt their situation, move on to another job, have to come back after that fact and try to, reestablish itself going forward at that point in time.
Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Thank you. I agree with my colleagues in the support of it. I just want to make sure that the public knows who all is going to be covered underneath billing rates. It's not just Todd Davis, but also Jordan Burns, who is our who, along with Majid Malouf, is our zoning specialists, and they do help us with the TIF as specialists, along with Verdantis with the environmental. So we have 4 consultants there. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Shamir.
Yes, I would also like to make the comment that when you plan something well in advance, and we have professionals and we have people that are paid well in the city, so being able to manage a schedule is critical to their job. So if you know that you're going to have to go through a 6-week cycle or a 7-week cycle, you better start planning and managing. You can't come and say, oh, I am sorry because of this and I am sorry because of that. The capacity of a director, the capacity of a consultant, and the capacity of administration to plan and implement is critical to what needs to be done. If you can't plan it, that's not my problem. Thank you.
If I could,
Thank you, Mr. Shamir. Yes, Mayor.
since Mr. Shamir pointed me out, I want to make sure I have a chance to respond. So we have been pushing ALERG for this reimbursable agreement for quite some time. We had to wait for them to provide it. As soon as they provided it, it went to council. So this is not, in effect, the administration's fault. It's not our professionals' fault. As soon as it was prepared and given to us, we provided it. Thank you.
Yes, you may.
So we are back now again to ALERG effectively rushing us because they came to us at a later date, and now we're running to move it through. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Seeing none, if the clerk would call the roll, please.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
No.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
that has passed 6-1. If the clerk would read by title only, ordinance number 26-20.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a purchase agreement for Lorraine County permanent parcel number 04000050000119, located at 720 Moore Road, Avon Lake, Ohio, from Moore Road LLC, and declaring an emergency.
I move for the suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings. Please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
that is passed under suspension. I now move for passage of ordinance number 26-20. In discussion, this is the purchase of the property at 720 in order for the water plant for the public purposes that we've discussed before of allowing for the distribution of more water throughout the region, along with the potential ability for the city to be involved in this land with future development for economic purposes. Any questions? Yes, Mr. Costa.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Council President. What was the total acreage on the purchase again? I'm flipping through it.
Pardon me?
Mayor, if you recall?
75 acres.
Okay. So it's a big piece of property. So providing that this passes tonight, which I assume that it will, and the city, Regional Water, takes possession of this, they really want it for their project that, they're looking to do for the water department, I understand that. But 75 acres now comes to, for lack of a better, the city. What does that do after this passes today to the marketing of this through Mr. Shamir's Committee, Economic Development, through the administration? Where do we go tomorrow on this with this now being a 75-acre, vacant acre of city-owned property? Where do we go from here when this passes? How do we market? How do we do this?
Mr. Logan's here from the Avon Lake Municipal Utilities.
Yeah, we'd call on him to maybe see if he wants to add input to that.
Did you want to add any input to that?
I would just say, Mr.
Well, you got to come up to the microphone, please.
Can't speak to the marketing of the property, Mr. Cos, but I know Mr. Monroe, who's spoken to the mayor a couple times, has some thoughts about it and has been approached, I know, by development companies. I mean, it could end up being partitioned off into other portions, but our purpose is to get the ETL project done, provide more water to the southern part of the county for rural Lorraine County water primarily, they can upgrade their pump station, which is on the property as well, or close to the property. So.
Thank
But
you.
as far as marketing the property, I can't.
Thank you for being here, Mayor. Anything further on that?
I would just add that that property's been for sale for a very long time, and there's issues with that property relative to wetlands, easements that not only you possess, but First Energy possesses, so it really chopped up that property. The fact that Avon Lake Regional Water is going to be able to go in and do their thing, which is very important to their water supply to our external customers, it actually will make the property more marketable, because now the Avon Lake Regional Water, the city own that property. We've already had people with interest in that property, whereas before that wasn't happening. I think the marketing of that property will be easier once they complete their work. And they're doing it in such a way to maximize the potential of the property, so we appreciate that.
Thank you. Any further questions? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Thank you. This is a question for Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Logan. Mr. Mayor, remind me, is the railroad going through the property or is it adjacent to the property?
Adjacent.
Okay, and number two, is that spur, I'm going to call it a spur, coming off of the railroad, is that active or not at this point?
So that's in the current Aylard-owned property. That spur is, there's kind of two spurs on there. One is active, that it goes to the Lubrizol area, and the other is inactive.
Thank you, sir.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
That ordinance number 2620 has passed. Next, if the clerk would read by title only, ordinance number 26-21.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 25-193, appropriations for fiscal year 2026 and declaring an emergency.
As a practical purpose, Exhibit B is the alternate that we're going to be considering here in this ordinance, which is, includes the reimbursements for the, from ALARC to the city. All right, please, if you'd note that for the record. I move, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I move for the suspension of the rules requiring 3 readings.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Thank you. I move for the passage of ordinance number 26-21 with Exhibit B. In discussion, this is what we normally do for various adjustments that we make for the budget that has been discussed on several occasions for the appropriations for fiscal year 2026. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them or pass that on to the finance director. All right, seeing no questions, if the clerk would read or would call a roll, please.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed. Ordinance number, if the clerk would read, please, by title only, ordinance number 26-22.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Section 474.01, Code Application to Bicycles and Electric Bicycles, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kaz,
I move to suspend the council rule requiring 3 readings.
if the clerk would call the roll, please.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
In discussion, Mr. Kaz.
Thank you. I move for passage of ordinance number 26-22.
In discussion.
Discussion. Yeah, we've talked a lot about this. This is the legislation that's going to be amending this code section, which will require all of those under 18 years of age operating or being a passenger on either a Class 1, Class 2, or Class 3 electric bicycle to wear a helmet that is a protective helmet that meets the standards established by the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission or the American Society for Testing and Materials. So The short definition of this is the helmet law that is being required for e-bikes. Again, we had Dr. Remy in last week, gave a very sobering presentation on this. I think the city needs to keep up the educational component of this. The police department is working on an enforcement component of this. We'll work on ways for the public to get helmets into the hands of people and encourage people to wear them and acquire them. So we're looking at doing a number of different things with this. I will say that for residents that have concerns about e-bikes, and there's a lot of them, the police department cannot be everywhere all the time. As fast as it is to post something on Facebook, I encourage you to please contact the Avon Lake Police Department instead at 440-933-4567. That is their non-emergency number. And the police department, if you talk with members of them, members of the department, the chief and the lieutenant I have, they are stopping kids. They are talking with them. They are talking to parents. So they are doing this, but this stuff takes time, and you're probably never going to get 100% compliance, but they know that this law is going into place, and they fully support it, and they're going to look to put all of the measures in place so that way everyone that operates these can do them in the safest way that we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaz. Yes, Ms. Gentry.
So as part of what Mr. Koss had mentioned earlier, licensing is not something that the city can do. That is a state requirement. And so my hope is that as part of the program that we put together, that we can put some kind of incentive program so that we can try and have these bike riders go through some kind of training so that they understand what the laws of the road are, because many of them don't have an opportunity. They haven't heard about rules since they were 5 years old in Safety Town. So, and they have, many of them don't have their driver's licenses yet. So I'm hoping that as part of this program that the police department puts together, it will include some sort of training program for them and maybe an incentive to get a free helmet out of that. I don't know, but that was part of the discussion that we had.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 26-22 has passed. We now move on to first readings. The clerk would read by title only ordinance number 26-31.
An ordinance allowing beer and wine to be sold, served, dispensed, and consumed for a one-day summer fest to be held at Miller Road Park on June 20th, 2026, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Kaz.
Yeah, thank you. I discussed this earlier. This came out of the Safety Committee with a 3-0 vote. We plan to go 3 readings on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? The date is June 20th of 26. The Summerfest will be at Miller Road Park. Okay, seeing nothing. That concludes the first reading of ordinance 26-31. If the clerk would read by title only, ordinance number 26-32.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a settlement agreement with Jeremy Betza and declaring an emergency.
I move for the suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Question, when do I ask my question?
At the discussion.
Have discussion.
This is
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna vote yes or no based
This
on
is
that
just to
question.
suspend the rule.
This is the
I
suspension of the
understand,
rule.
but
Well, there's no discussion on the suspension of the rule.
yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Okay, suspension of the rule is passed. At this point, I would move for passage of ordinance number 26-32. This ordinance is written as an agreement that settles various lawsuits, at least, I believe, 3 that I recall, that Mr. Betza has filed, along with the Civil Service Commission hearings that were being held regarding his employment with the City of Avon Lake. It resolves the actions of the United States District Court, Lorraine County Court of Common Pleas, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, also known as the EEOC, Ohio Civil Rights Commission, the Ohio State Employment Relations Board, and an appeal to the Avon Lake Civil Service Commission. In that regard, the council is authorizing the finance director to make payments as set forth in the settlement agreement in the gross amount of $125,000, which consists of $30,000 of accumulated sick time and $95,000 as further consideration for the full and final settlement. The settlement is being done for the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Avon Lake in order to resolve the litigation, stop spending countless amounts of money on attorney's fees, thus for the public good health, safety, and welfare. Any further discussion? Mr. Shamir.
Well, the question that I've got is the Civil Service Commission meetings that I tried to attend were pretty much closed. So what were the findings of the Civil Service Commission? Because I don't see any document anywhere. The other thing is, were there any procedural issues that were found that requires rectification? And are we making any policy and procedural changes based on those findings of the Civil Service Commission so that we don't have issues like this in the future?
Mr. Ebert?
If I may, the Civil Service Commission hearings were executive session. There were no findings at this point in time. There were actually winding down. There's first cause of action, the second cause of action. So there were no findings by the Civil Service Commission. During that last period of time, dating back about the last month, now we're coming on to the new month, but the Civil Service Commission, during that period of time that there was a settlement agreement reached between the parties. The city had concluded this I could read you some stuff. There's several various court actions, administrative proceedings which were pending. There's some courts in the Federal District Court and Common Pleas Court that rule in favor of the city. There's other cases that Mr. Smith has mentioned about the EEOC and Ohio Civil Rights Commission and SERB are still pending before the court, but this would be part of the settlement. The city's concluded its dispute with former Fire Chief Jeremy Betza. Mutually agreed all claims and allegations have been resolved. The city denies the claims in the litigation, but this was part of a settlement agreement that was entered into with Chief Betza and the city of Avon Lake. And pursuant to that, this goes back to July of 2025, involving various court actions and administrative proceedings that Mr. Betza brought against the city. So all those actions will be settled pursuant to the settlement agreement once it's adopted. There are some further dialogue that has to take place this week to conclude those dismissal entries that I'll be meeting with Mr. Betza to resolve. Yep.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Shamir.
I don't have any issues with the settlement component of it. I find it quite interesting that, I mean, if you're a Civil Service Commission, you're effectively looking at all components. And I would expect some sort of a report on failure points, because to be frank, we waited several months before we went through and settled.
Well, they did not reach any conclusion or make any opinion concerning the first hearing that went forward. It was not over when the settlement actually was agreed to. So there wasn't a conclusion of points as far as what the city argued or what Mr. Betza argued. I will say this, that based on the administrative code, based on the length of time this took with civil service and that, there may be some changes of our rules going forward. I would have to say that.
Okay.
But there was no conclusion by Civil Service Commission on the hearings that they had. There was no decision made at that point in time. It was towards the end of the first claim that the settlement was reached. It was, a matter of fact, during one of theirs right before their last meeting they had. So they suspended their rules based on the settlement agreement that was entered into.
So we will be looking at our procedural components somewhere down.
Yeah, but not any findings, because there weren't any findings by Civil Service.
And I believe that would be for the Civil Service Commission to make they would make the recommendations and then pass it on to council.
Thank you.
If they feel that need.
Right, I applaud Civil Service for taking all this time. Remember, they're a volunteer group that
Exactly.
spent a lot of time, on this whole thing of their time. It's been a long proceeding. As I indicated, there were several cases filed, several administrative proceedings that were filed. So there's been a lot of time and effort put into this situation by all parties.
Yes, Ms. Gentry.
I would just like the law director's opinion on Mr. Phillips' comment regarding the open meetings in section 3.
The was, I think it was Mr. Zimmerman's, but.
It was.
Mr. Zimmerman, sorry.
But the open meetings, the section 3 is, this, we're discussing that ordinance tonight in open, all right? No, we're not discussing terms and conditions of the settlement agreement. That's subject to public record, you know. Once we conclude the proceedings that is part of the settlement agreement, which have to be done yet this week based on the adoption of this ordinance tonight. But we have complied with that.
Okay.
Yeah, all the meetings were done in compliance with 121.22, including Mr. Betts's decision not to have his Civil Service Commission meetings be open.
That's correct. He asked for that executive session.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Yes, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Okay, thank you. Popping into where my colleague, Ms. Gentry, brought up section number 3. Mr. Ebert, would you be willing to take the word meetings and make it in a meeting open to the public?
I would not go with that because the section deals with all the meetings that were held were in compliance with 121.22.
And that also reflects
That would
the
be
idea of executive
Civil
sessions.
service,
Right, civil
executive
service, et cetera.
sessions. and the
So
like.
if I could say it a different way, 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code not only speaks to the open meetings, but also to the ability to have an executive session, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any further questions? All right, if the clerk would call the roll, please.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
thank you. The ordinance number 26-32 has passed. We're on now to miscellaneous business and announcements. Any miscellaneous business or announcements? Yes, Ms. Gentry.
I wanted to announce the Ward 3 meeting will be April 7th at 7 p.m. at the library.
See if I got these prepared to be signed tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Fenderbosh, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Thank you. Just to let everybody know, and they probably have seen it on social media, the Harlem Wizards are coming back to Avon Lake, and this will be on Tuesday, April the 14th. Tickets are going quickly. I'd suggest that you go online and purchase your tickets as soon as possible. The benefit of the Harlem Wizards isn't just teaching good workmanship and sportsmanship and leadership skills to our youth, which are very important, but it's also a fundraising way of earning funds for not just sports in Avon Lake schools, which would be the Avon Lake Public School System, but also St. Joe's, but also St. Raphael's in the STEM areas, which would be your science and your math. It could also be in the arts. Last year, and the reason I know this, I'm on the committee with Dr. Remy. Last year, they were able to give $50,000 back to those particular areas to help our youth. And this is just a wonderful way of having a good time, having fun, and then also supporting our youth in many ways. Thank you.
Thanks. Maybe we could use some of the money that they raised to buy helmets for folks so we can have the police department help with that, because that's very concerning, the injuries that could happen that Dr. Remy was here to discuss.
Right, and
Thank you.
if I could speak to that particular point, there's a number of foundations that do support free helmets, and Dr. Remy, I'm sure, is going to be working with Mr. Cause on finding ways of, and the mayor with finding ways of paying for those helmets. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shamir.
Yes, just want to mention that on March 31st, we will have a Ward 1 meeting at the library at 5:30 to 6:30, and the mayor and his team will be there to discuss the tax increase. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything further? Seeing none. Mr. Cos,
I move to adjourn.
please call the roll.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mrs. Goodwin?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
thank you. Meeting is adjourned.